Hey everybody, it's Fernando from the Rollback Podcast, and for your Wednesday Rewind today, we are going to be reviewing one of my personal favorite movies, Goon, starring Sean William Scott, Jay Baruchel, and Liev Schreiber.
I did not know this was one of your personal favorite films. That I did not know about.
I love this movie, dude. It's a fucking feel-good movie. There are two scenes in this movie that make me feel something emotionally
Mm.
that I love that they make me feel.
Huh. I did not expect this movie to be such a strong emotional connection for you. Wow.
Hmm.
Um, well, Goon, I had never heard it. I had seen it on like Redbox like a number of years ago, but I never bothered to watch it. I know Sean William Scott. I know him as Stifler, from American Pie.
Hmm.
He's talented. He's never been given a lot of stuff to work with. Also, watch Role Models. If no, you haven't seen it, watch that movie. It's fucking great. But
Role
go on.
Models is hilarious.
It's awesome. But okay, you were saying about this movie? Tell me about it.
So Goon follows a lowly bouncer named Doug Glatt, who is trying to find his way in the world, and he stumbles across the role of being an enforcer on a kind of low league hockey team. Now, what most people don't realize is that hockey is one of the only sports where they have someone specifically on that team that all they do is fight and protect their leading scorers. It is one of the few sports where these people are hired not because they can score goals, not because they're a good defenseman, but because they can fuck someone up with their fist on skates.
I did not know that that was a thing. I thought that was something
Yep.
made for this movie. That's an actual
Two,
thing?
yeah, two of my favorite sports documentaries, The Last Guardian, um, following Chris Knuckles Nyland, who was a very famous enforcer for the Montreal Canadiens. We also have what's it called? Ice Guardians. I believe that one's still on Netflix, where they talk about more of the modern day enforcers. And yeah, like if there wasn't these enforcers, you wouldn't have famous guys like Wayne Gretzky.
Huh. I was about to ask you, was Gretzky an enforcer? Like, I don't know. Like, I
No,
know none.
Gretzky was a scorer, but
Okay.
he had an enforcer.
Okay. Okay. That makes
And if
sense.
you didn't have an enforcer, that means guys can take liberties with Gretzky.
Yeah. Dude, I had no idea that was a thing in hockey. I don't know anything about hockey. I just thought,
Mhm.
oh, this lovable lug can fist fight. Let's give him a job. I did not know about that. Okay.
No, that's
Um,
literally why they gave him the job because he can fist fight
well, okay, so Galat, he's ostracized from his family. Like, both his parents are physicians, and his brother's a physician,
and gay. Don't forget
and
gay.
they bring that up a lot. Um, they do, but
Well,
he's
I think it's just because Jay Baruchel plays a guy from Boston, and he just brings it up, and it just becomes like a running gag, and he just flicks him off every once in a while.
what's it called? Jay Burchell. It was weird to see him in this. Like, I did not expect that at all.
Mm. I think
Uh,
he's the producer on the movie.
that makes sense, actually. This movie has an oddly strong cast. Like, it
Mm.
has God, what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? What's his
Kim
name?
Coates as the fucking coach was the probably one of the best decisions that they could have made. I love Kim Coates. He was great on Sons of Anarchy.
I knew I recognized him from somewhere. Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. Fucking
You fuck your players. Everybody knows it.
Levi Schreiber. Also, like, dude, like this is an award-winning
Leave
actor.
Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber, thank you. That
Don't
was
disrespect fucking
I'll call him Wolverine. I'm gonna call him Sabretooth. I'm sorry.
there we go.
I'm sorry. Sabretooth is in this movie, and that shocked the hell out of me too. Um, but no, man, like a strangely strong cast
Mm.
for a heartfelt film. Um, the movie also it wasn't even a box office hit, but it grew a cult following
No,
on
yeah, this
VOD.
was this was pretty much an indie film.
Yeah. But still did well. Doug, he gets into a fist fight. They decide to hire him as an enforcer, and he slowly works his way up the ranks. And I mean, The thing is, Doug is so lovable. Like I can't think of a single negative thing about him. Like
Yeah, like he's the nicest guy that you can meet, and it fucking happens like when he meets that chick, and I always forget her name. She plays the drummer on Scott Pilgrim versus the World,
yes, I can't remember her
and
name either.
and
Eva.
she cheats on her boyfriend with Doug, and like he still like is completely nice to her, like he's completely infatuated with this chick. He's nice to his parents, even though they're fucking dicks to him. He's nice to everybody, even the fucking La Flemme,
Yeah, the dude he's supposed to be fucking protecting for some reason he's like going out of his way.
The Frenchman.
Yeah.
He was he was brought to the team because he was great in the pros. He had an incident with Liev Schreiber's character where I think he got fucking lit up, and he kind of lost his confidence, started doing like drugs and drinking. So they sent him down to the low leagues to rebuild his confidence,
Yeah.
and they bring in Doug to basically like defend him, uh to be his enforcer.
Yeah. Um in this film. There's a lot of emotional moments though, man, in this film. And it's weird because I didn't expect to feel anything when I started watching this movie. I was just like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna watch a dumb movie about a guy who like, unwittingly becomes great at a sport or whatnot.
Mhm.
But like the sheer commitment that Scott has to just like giving this character all the heart, in the world. He plays him so earnestly and I mean, he's dim-witted, but he's such a nice guy. You can't help but like cheer for him.
Completely opposite from the characters that he's chosen
No,
before.
yeah, dude,
Stifler, who else? In Road Trip, his character in Road Trip, which pretty much was just like Stifler.
yeah,
His character in The Rundown, his character in Role Models, like the, this guy is completely different
he's
from all his
quiet.
characters. Yeah,
It's weird, man. I feel like William Scott has like gone through a bit of a transformation in his career because he went from these loud roles. Now he even has a part as like a priest on like Welcome to Fletch or something like that. Like it's weird,
hmm.
not in a bad way, but different.
Yeah, and but yeah, Sean William Scott like gained weight. He learned how to skate. He learned how to fight on skates because, believe it or not, like it is a fucking art to be able to fight on skates.
I mean, dude, I can't imagine skating in general. Doesn't at one point he break his
Oh
ankle and he
yeah.
fights on one foot,
All
which is
right.
like fuck.
Before we go into this, do you have any scenes in this movie that you really liked?
Um, God, there were a lot of scenes that I enjoyed in this film. The scene that give me the biggest reaction of like was when the hockey puck hit him in the face. I'm just like
Okay.
no,
So that's
no,
one of the scenes that makes me feel something like emotionally because he's put in a predicament where they are like 10 seconds. And in hockey, you can pull your goalie from the goal and send in an extra skater, which means your goal is defenseless, but you have an extra skater so you can try to score.
yeah,
And Doug's team's goalie gets knocked out of the goal, and Doug is the only one left in front of the goal. And the guy winds up for a slap shot, and he just fucking drops to his knees and takes a puck going maybe 50 miles an hour to his fucking jaw.
dude. I could that. It's not often that a movie will elicit a reaction like like that shouldn't happen, and like
Oh,
I I
and
feel for this guy. Like,
then it gets worse. So he falls, and they're trying to slap the puck in, and they're hitting him in the face with their sticks. And then one guy steps on his ankle with his fucking skate.
mm,
Like, you feel for Doug because you could tell, like, he's just giving it his all. for this team in the middle of bumfuck Canada.
Man, like what? So you mentioned that this scene elicits a very strong emotional reaction from you.
Yeah.
What does this scene like pull from you?
I mean, it just, I mean, I thought Sean fucking acted his ass off in that scene because you can feel the pain. You see the pain when he fucking takes the shot to the face, and you could tell like he's just doing this because he wants to be a good teammate, because he wants to be a good teammate for these guys that he's grown to love.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were like dicks to him when he started.
Yeah, I think I think maybe that scene like earned essentially. I think it earns the respect of the entire fucking team after that. Like they're all like, "Dude, you're in.
Oh,
You're one of
and
us."
then it elicits probably one of the best hockey fights. You see the goalie go after the other goalie. He's like, "Prepare to die, motherfucker!"
That's true. It's a full on brawl. Like everyone,
And
even I think LaFlame even gets in on it, right?
yeah, Kim Coates is yelling at the coach. Oh, you fuck your players. Everybody knows it. Don't deny it.
Oh man, this is but still, strangely enough, man, this is a movie that has no business being as good as it is, having so much emotions, having so much rawness, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
What was the other scene for you, man? Like what really like
Well,
spoke to you?
this other scene doesn't elicit a response from me, but I really do love the scene is when Doug meets Leaf Schreiber's character in the bar,
Oh, okay.
and they're kind of talking, shooting the shit, and it's funny because like it is exactly like how it is in hockey,
Hmm.
because when these enforcers meet on the ice, it will more than likely start by saying like, "Hey man, you want to go?" And most of the time, the guy will be like, "Yeah, let's go," and they'll drop their gloves and they'll go, unless like the guy takes liberties with one of their scorers, and then it's gloves dropped automatically. But most of the time, like you'll have a young, hungry enforcer who will go up to the guy who's established and be like, "Hey man, you want to go?"
That's insane to me.
Like, have you ever seen videos of face-offs in hockey where like automatically the guys drop gloves?
No.
So if you watch, there are some like face-offs where the guys will drop gloves like right then and there, and that's because they were talking and they're like, "Hey man, like, you want to go?"
That see, and I thought okay, before you told me this, I thought that's kind of weird, but okay. Like even the scene where Doug's first fight as part of the Highlanders, I think.
Yeah,
Like him and the other guy just like, hey man, you want to fight? Yeah, okay. Good luck.
thanks
Good
for
luck to you too.
asking.
Yeah, thanks for. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they beat the shit out of each other, and then when they stop, they're like, hey man, good fight. Yeah, you too.
Yeah, because they're not trying to kill each other; they're just trying to fight for their team.
Like they're trying to do their job. Like, hey man, they paid
Yeah,
me to fight. You want to fight? Let's fight.
yeah, it's a job.
Oh man, it was nuts. And then
But that scene for me was really good, where they meet in the bar and Leaf kind of tells them like how it is. Like if we meet in the rink, it's gonna be fucked up. And then the other scene that elicits a response is the heavyweight fight, Leaf Schreiber versus Sean William Scott, Doug Glatt.
mhm.
Like just them being in the penalty box, and he's like, "Hey kid, you ready?" And like they get out of the penalty box, and as soon as they leave the penalty box, drop gloves, and the refs know not to get in the middle. That's how it is. The refs know they're not
Yeah,
going to get in the middle, and the fight goes, and it's rough. And then I think Doug's ankle kind of like buckles,
yeah,
and the ref kind of like flinches, and Leave looks at him and like, "Don't you fucking dare!"
He's like, he's not done. He's not done.
Yeah,
And he's like, get compose yourself. Get the fuck up. We're not
yeah,
done here.
yeah.
Which, I mean, part of me, like, I was wondering two things. I'm like, is he being a bad guy or is he showing him respect?
No, he's showing him respect.
Like, it's nuts. And that's because Doug is handicapped going in because his ankle's already injured,
Yeah.
and Eva's like boyfriend just beat the shit out of him.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's
as
how nice of a guy Doug is. The chick that he steals, he goes to the guy's house and he lets him beat the shit out of him. And the guy
well,
fucking is like wailing on him.
what does he say? If you take
Like,
a,
I'm sorry, I deserve it.
what does he say? If you deserve a beating, you should take it. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn, ow.
Yeah, he takes the fucking hits.
Uh,
Also, it's before we get into that fight scene, it sucks, man, because Doug's family, like his parents, they don't like that he's in that.
they don't support him at all.
No, they're fucking disappointed in him. And like you could tell like he just wants them to be happy or wants them to be proud of him.
Yeah.
And like he finds that they're never going to be proud of him, but these people that he's grown fond of are proud of him.
Mhm.
And so yeah, like we get into that last fight scene, Schreiber gets him, his ankle buckles, and he looks at the ref and like, "Don't you fucking dare!" And then Doug Black stands back up. They go at it some more, and right when Doug gets that finishing like right hook, his like ankle breaks, like snaps,
Yeah.
and he knocks out Lee Schreiber. He falls to the ice and he's screaming, yelling in pain.
Hmm.
Like that part elicited emotional response because I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like
Yeah.
to give your all, and then you're just there in pain.
Yeah.
And props to the chick that plays his girlfriend because she gave some pretty good fucking emotional response too.
Yeah. She a very rocky moment. Um, he goes down. She's concerned and whatnot. Also, a Ted Lasso moment. I think maybe Ted Lasso borrows that because Doug is he's in the locker room with Eva while his team's out there fighting to try and win.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, just this whole movie. And what does he say? I think I laid him out. Or what's his very last line?
Uh,
I think I decked him.
I
I
I
can't
think
remember.
so.
Uh, and the movie ends, and it's weird because it ends so abruptly, but also almost perfectly.
Yeah, it ends like with him going back to the locker room. The playoff, uh, the game ending because, like I said, these guys are meant to just fight.
Yeah. And was it Ray or Ross? Ross Ray, something like that.
Uh, Ross the Boss Ray.
Ross the Boss Ray. Yeah. So him and Glatz just like gave us a hell of a show. They're both taking to the back, and we're left to watch. Obviously the Highlanders win, but I mean that's not the main event. The main event was clearly these two and their moment in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because the boss isn't your traditional villain. Like he's not like a bad guy that's just taunting him like I'm better than you. I beat you already. He's just like
He's an obstacle.
he not only that though, he's almost like a sportsman looking for his last great fight, his last hunt.
Yeah.
He's Ric Flair looking for his last match.
He could also be considered somewhat of a mentor.
That's true, because he doesn't he kind of tell him that when they're drinking, like they'll toss you away eventually.
Yeah. He tells them like they'll use you until like that's it. And that is the sad truth about enforcers. Like when you watch those documentaries, a lot of these guys love the sport of hockey. They
Mhm.
love everything about hockey, but they were never that good at hockey. So they did whatever they could to get into the league.
Mhm.
And if that meant fighting, that was fighting.
Mhm. But do these guys have like a tragically like short like lifespan or like a short career? Like what's the?
Uh, it's hard to say now. Um, the NHL has kind of cracked down on fighting. They still allow it, but nowhere near as much as they did back then. Um, these guys can make a living, like being older, but it's like every fighter. Eventually, you get to the point where your body is like once it catches a punch, it's gonna knock out.
Hmm. Damn, man. And I had no idea you were so connected to this film. Do you love the second one too? The Last of the Enforcers?
The second movie,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that movie did not, you know, it
Live
didn't
up to the hype.
capture the heart of the first one.
Hmm.
Like this one, like it's more like a fan service movie. But that first movie had magic.
It had heart, like you said. It had
Yeah,
heart.
it had fucking magic. And this movie, the second one, it was more fan service than anything.
Hmm. Oh shit. I'm glad you showed me this film though. Like I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I was watching it. So dumb side story. I was watching it as I was making a Lego Infinity Gauntlet, the new one that just came out, the Iron Man one. But the thing is, and I thought I was just gonna have this movie playing in the background while I was building it. Nah, I ended up putting down the fucking thing like so many times to watch and concentrate on the film. Like it wasn't background noise. It was a movie worth watching. Like it was like, oh shit, what just happened? Or the moment with his parents, I'm upset with his dad and his mom being like, no, you could be this. No, we don't want you to do this. That pissed me off because it's like, dude,
Yeah,
your son is doing something that he loves.
yeah,
Like he doesn't have to be a fucking doctor. Like support him. He's a
yeah,
good guy. Like this movie, to its credit, demands to be seen. You can't
yeah,
watch in the background. You need to see it. It demands your full attention.
yeah.
Um, yeah, man. Credit to this movie. Wow. And that's because I was watching it at like 10 p.m. and I sat down and watched the whole thing in one shot because I couldn't not watch it.
No, yeah, this movie, it's definitely one of those sleeper movies where you're just like, holy shit, like this movie's an indie movie, but and it's a very niche subject,
Yeah.
but it has heart and it has a story and it's good.
Yeah. Um,
So since this is your first time seeing it, what would you rate this movie?
shockingly, man, I'd probably say like an A minus. It's really fucking good. Like I would definitely rewatch this movie. Um, I can't. But the thing is, I can't think of anything it could improve on though. Like I don't have any notes. Like I can give notes on most films and be like, you should have done this or that. I can't think of anything. The last fight scene was properly brutal. They built up Doug perfectly. Like he was a lovable loaf. He's Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie. If he had more
Yeah,
personality, like, but you can't help but like the guy. Like he's not dim-witted to a point where you're frustrated or pissed off with him. You're just like, you're a good dude.
yeah.
You know, what
Like
about you? How
he's
would you
just a
rate it?
guy that you want to root for.
Yeah, I agree. How would you rate it? Like, what are your thoughts on this film? You suggested this film. Like, what's your core on this?
I think a friend had recommended it to me when in 2015 when I did my year of movies.
Hmm.
I think he recommended it to me, and when I watched it, I was instantly hooked. I was like, "This movie is fucking amazing,"
Hmm.
and like just the fact that it's an indie movie and it's not an A24 indie movie, which aren't even indie movies anymore. Those are fucking mainstream indie movies.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off with your A24 indie horse shit. Like, this is an indie movie. This movie right here, it's a very niche subject made by a comedy guy, and it has heart and it gets you to feel something. And it completely reinvents some guys like a Sean William Scott, who God knows if he's ever going to shed the skin of Stifler. But he did a great job in this movie, and for me, I give this movie an A+. Like, I love this movie. I thought this movie was awesome from start to finish, just really great.
Yeah, well, folks, that's our recommendation. If you have not seen Goon, you need to watch it. It is, damn, it is worth a watch. You can get on Vudu, YouTube, wherever you get your movies from. It is worth it.
Yep. But yes, me and Eddie rate this movie. Eddie rates it A-. I rated it A+. If you have not checked it out, I think it's still on Netflix if you can catch it. So please catch it on Netflix if you haven't seen it. But yeah, that is the review for today, everybody. Any last plugs, Eddie?
None. Go enjoy us on YouTube or wherever the hell you get your podcast from. Enjoy it all.
All right, let's end this bitch. All right, everybody, this is Fernando from the Rollback Podcast, along with Eddie. We just reviewed Goon, the sleeper hit of 2011. Please check us out wherever you get your podcast needs, and like us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Fernando, and that is
Eddie?
there. It is, and this was a review for Goon. Let's cut it.